our show. Once again, my name is Mrs. Augustina Anyanwu, and help me welcome my friends.
Glorynezemma, welcome back to our sweet home, Africa. It's a pleasure to have you as our viewers today. And today you could see that our studio is full.
That's right.
So without much ado, let's introduce our guest today.
Oh,
all right.
The guest.
Her name is
Miss
Anyanwu.
All right, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much for honoring our invitation.
That's right.
All right, so Miss Anyanwu is a Nigerian young lady that is growing up in New Jersey, USA. She was born here, and she loves Nigeria so much. She loves Africa, everything about Africa, and that's why we brought her to this show. All right, so we'll allow her to introduce herself a little bit. She went to school here and everything. And then she will tell us a lot about young people growing up in Africa. You see, my friend and I, we always talk about the older people, but let's hear from a young African. So, our dear Ugochi, thank you once again for honoring our invitation. All right, I know you went to school here, so tell the viewers a little bit about what you studied before we go into depth.
In college, I studied public health and psychology. So, and also I'm in nursing school right now. So there's that.
Okay. Thank you so much. It's very heartwarming when we hear our young ones that are, growing up in diaspora, how they are doing well in terms of education. But, our show is all about rebuilding Africa, and that's why we brought her here today. So we have some questions that we're going to ask her, and then she will help us to shed some light on some of the things that the young ones are doing in terms of trying to lift Africa up. So I'll let my co-host go first.
Thank you so much, my friend. Mr. Gochi, the first question I want to ask you, because as you are here now, you represent a whole lot of the youth, especially the female ones. The young adults, let me put it that way. So being born in America, as my friend just said, I know that as American and African, that's how you have two citizenships now. So my question is, what are some of the challenges growing up as people, maybe your friends in school or whatever, growing up, they look at you maybe because of your last name or your first name. What are the challenges up until this time in age, at work, everywhere?
I don't think I face any challenges, or the challenges that I was facing when I was young, I don't face them today. But I know that when I was growing up, like, it's kind of like, you mentioned a dual citizenship, it's kind of like a dual life as well. Because, here I have my life inside the house, and then outside is kind of different in the sense that I'm trying to fit in with the little American kids when I was younger by, like, maybe doing something simple like trying to trick or treat when I was in 5th grade, and my mom said no. So it's like all the little kids are like, well, this is what we do, and I'm like, well, I can't really do it because I grew up in a different culture, and this is not the norm for my Nigerian culture. But then once I'm with my American friends, they're like, what are you talking about? This is the norm. So it was kind of like growing up like that. It was a series of events just like that. So, but that's pretty much, I think that stopped in about high school, and then it got a little bit easier, especially after college. People pretty much matured, and now they know. So.
Thank you so much. I have a question. It's my turn. All right, so you've traveled to Africa before, and you have seen Africa. Yeah. You have seen how rich we are. You have also seen how poor we are in Africa. All right, so what are your plans? In terms of when you talk to some of your friends, do they have plans on, helping in Africa, bringing some of the wealth here, or some of the knowledge that you have acquired? Do you people talk about how to lift Africa up and things that you can do to help people in Africa? Do you discuss it with your friends?
Yeah, I think it's a part of mainly a lot of Nigerian youth growing up here. We kind of have similar plans in the sense that, you get the education here, you grow here, you can start your family here, but make sure you're doing something. for the people back home, whether it's as simple as, just going home and I guess giving them money or whatever it is, but it can go as far as, like, I know for me, the education that I get here, I do want to start implementing, like, 24-hour clinics, if it's whether, like, sustainability projects. Even with my brothers, like, we all have this conversation where we just want to go home and, like, do something with what we've got gathered here, so.
Okay. But before I let my co-host ask another question, actually, there's something that you said. You said maybe go home and give them money and this, and then after a while you branched into you're going to establish something. And I have to let you know that the second thing that you said, I love it so much. Because as much as we go, most of the time people travel home and want to give gift and give gift and give gift. But we have realized that the gifts do not sustain them. So what we're looking for are things that are really will be established so that it can create employment. So what you just said about the 24-hour clinic is very heartwarming. So thank you so much. I'm just encouraging you. Tell your friends if they can come together with you and do it. It will be perfect because we need young people to go and establish things in Africa. All right, so my co-host, is your turn again.
Oh, my dear. My next question should be based on the answer that she just gave or the question you asked her. Because you talk about friends. Because I'm looking at it like I know that one person can single-handedly build a hospital. But being that Africa as a whole, as a continent, or even Nigeria, if we have to come, have different states. So my next question will be, is there any plan or any means that you will get more people into this circle of your friends?
Yes.
So let's say, is there any other way you can communicate to Nigerian youths or African youth? Is there a way that you'll, get in touch with each other so that as to discuss, I can call it the matters that are so present to African countries?
Definitely, I feel as though social media has made it so much easier to, even if like discussing current events that's going on in Nigeria with the youth that are living in Nigeria, it kind of created that bridge, and you can kind of use social media to network for, if you want to try and hash out problems or try and figure out solutions. It's easier now because we have access to do it versus before social media, it was a little bit more of a reach, but now it's definitely more doable. So it kind of creates the baseline for the network that we need as Nigerian youth.
Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, I have another question for you.
Okay.
Okay. I know we heard about the violence that is going on in Nigeria, and many of us, our hearts are broken because of the youths. And we see some of the youths here that are doing so well. And the youth in Africa look like they're not, doing that so well. And it's not because they don't want to, but because they don't have the opportunity. So what advice do you think? I know you're young, but young people can advise older people too. In terms of the government, what do you think that our government should do or that they're doing different from what the governments are doing here to help the youths?
I think the biggest thing is the government should listen to what the youth are saying.
Very good.
From my understanding, obviously I don't live in Nigeria, so I don't know the everyday life in it, but it's like, from what I see, it seems as though the government is a little bit outdated in the way that they are handling things and the policies that they have. So if you just listen to the youth, because we're not stupid, like we know what we're talking about and we want to see change. We know that Nigeria is like a well of just resources, and it's rich in the sense that Nigeria can probably be better than any other country that you think of, but at the same time we can't because we have a pretty bad government, and Nigerian youth are tired of seeing this bad government. I know some of the politicians, some of the names that I've been hearing them since I was a child. And it's like, I don't know why that is. It shouldn't be like that. And even if you want to, you can hear those same names all the time, but it's like, allow space for the new generations to come in and to implement some of the things that can make the country better for the benefit of the entire country, not just the benefit of your pockets.
Right. My next question to you is, I know that you have dual citizenship, but I look at it since your parents are from Nigeria, in Africa, so they must have imparted some culture in you that, let's say they no longer are around here, maybe they went back home or you just moved out. So what are some of those culture that have been embedded in you since birth that you can pass on to the next generation?
I think besides obvious, like, you know, learning to cook, music, yeah, like besides those things, there's definitely certain principles that my parents instilled in me, and I don't see myself straying from them. Though some of them can be a little bit strict. You know, those stricter ones I tend to stray away from, but it's like the core principles that I was raised upon, like certain things you don't really do because you don't want to bring shame to your family. Like, you're not going to get involved in like maybe some type of gang or whatever it is. You're not, like, I know for me personally, I'm not going to do that because I know I still have to live up to my last name and I still have to make sure. And that's something that I, you know, plan to teach my children, and I hope children's and children, all of that. I feel as though the principles that I was raised on definitely stuck with me, and they're going to continue to stick with generations to come. I don't know if you want me to get specific on things, or is it...
It's okay.
Oh.
If you can, but if not, we leave it that way.
Okay. All right, I have my last question for you. Okay, as an African young lady growing up in diaspora, do you have plans of moving back to Africa later in life?
Okay, yeah, later in life, definitely. I don't think that I'm ready to make such a transition now, especially because my life in America isn't really established. So I would probably wait until I'm more established and financially more financially responsible, because I know that, or the chances of me moving to Africa and then I would have to, like, you know, I still have to take care of my family back home too. It's a little, it costs money. So once I'm finished with school, I get a good job, I have everything established, I definitely would transition back.
Okay.
Okay,
Let me just,
I have one to ask because she brought it up.
Okay.
My question now. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I hope it's not my question now.
No, wait a minute. Because actually she brought up what I wanted to
Oh, that's what she brought up.
No. Because my question is this. She said that right now she's not financially stable. And she wants to, when you go home, you will help people at home. So my last question, last, is this.
I hope so.
If Africa is good, let's say if Nigeria is rebuilt now, and you are very sure that when you go home, you will get a job, would you make it a short-term goal now or a long-term goal for you to move back to Africa?
Well, what kind of job? Is it a good job? Is it a decent job?
Yes.
If it's a good job, better than anything that I would have any type of office here, of course, because, you know, the whole thing about it is being financially stable. And if I can become financially stable there and do all the things I need to do, I don't see why not. But it would still have to be after I finish my education.
Okay.
So.
All right, thank you so much for answering all my questions right. Yes.
My own question is, what advice you have for the youths, especially the female youths, you know, according to the young adults? What advice you have as far as finance, their financial, you know, everything about their finance and what you think they should be doing? Do you have any advice for them as far as since you have the idea, if everything you become financially stable, you will be able to relocate if possible or transition, that's the way you put it. So do you have any advice for them? So as you're trying to be financially okay, then they will be planning too, because they're your friends. You cannot go and leave everybody. Maybe some of you want to migrate back to Africa. What advice do you have for them?
I mean, I can't really give much advice because I don't know what I'm doing. But it's like, if I could just give one piece of advice, it would just be remember the goal. At the end of the day, I'm pretty sure at least 99% of Nigerian youth, they have the same goal of trying to make Nigeria better.
Thank you.
So if it's, here in the diaspora and we're trying to get financially stable and trying to go back and make it better, remember the goal that we're trying to go back and make it better. Like, we're trying to make sure that we're good and that everything is good on our end before we transition. And even if it's for Nigerian youth who are living in Nigeria, remember the goal. And I know right now with everything going on, it may be hard to sometimes remember that goal, but remember the goal that we're trying to make it better, and we can't do that if we keep quiet. So
that's true.
Yes.
All right, so thank you.
I have a question for you. Do you
Go ahead.
have advice for the youths growing up, the female ones, and the youth in particular?
Exactly.
Since they have the idea, some of them have the idea of getting financially, okay, so they can transition back to Africa or be able to establish things back home, because those things cost money.
Exactly.
So do you have advice for them how they can do in order to be able to achieve their goal?
That's true. All right, thank you so much for the question, because what happened is that you have to set your goal. So just like Ugochi said, if you have a goal, you have to work towards that goal. But what we have seen the youth in diaspora do is that they earn money and they waste it so much in terms of buying luxury things over and over, cars. You buy a car, after 2 years you return it. And I'm advising you that those things do not work in your best interest. Because the people that are selling those things that you're buying over and over, they are making money. So they are making themselves richer while making you poorer. So if you have set your goal, you have to work towards your goal. And in diaspora, especially in the Western world, it's not how much you earn, but it's how much you spend that makes you rich. So you might earn a lot of money, but if you're spending so much, then you won't be able to save. So cut your coat according to your size. Buy what you need, and don't live so much flashy life, because people judge you based on who you are, not just the makeup that you put on or the the nail polish that you change every week or the wig that you wear every week. If someone loves you, they love you no matter how you look. I mean, it's good to look glamorous. I love glamour too. But what we're saying is just like focus on your goal, work towards your goal, and then save money to be able to accomplish your goal. Because wealth doesn't fall from the tree. You have to plant it and allow it to grow so that you can have enough to move back to Africa.
That sounds so good. I love it. And make sure you budget and stop spending above your means. You understand? Because this COVID taught all of us a whole lot of stuff. Because most of us that soak, I spend it, next week I get paid. So when everywhere was closed, what happened? Then it was so hard for us to be able to meet up. And then we had to be careful of how much we charge. Because no matter how you charge, you are going to pay it with interest. All right? So that's so nice, my dear. You did so well. As you represent the youth.
Yes.
So we'll be calling on you next time too. So please, thank you so much for accepting our invitation today.
Thank you. And our viewers, Apple does not fall far from its tree. So we can't end this show without telling you who Ugochi is in real life. Ugochi is my co-host's daughter. So as much as it's good to practice what you preach, so it's very heartwarming to see that her daughter is following the mom's footsteps in terms of trying to rebuild Africa. So we thank you once again for being our viewer. So, but I'll let my co-host, finish it up in case she has something to say. Go ahead.
Yes, like I usually say, one word is enough for the wise.
That's true.
The youth. So Nigerians, Africans are depending on you. Please do not disappoint us. As Ugochi mentioned, that the name she's been hearing since she was a child, as far as Nigerian government is concerned. We don't
and
know
other African countries.
Yeah,
too.
we don't know who will rebuild it. Maybe they're waiting on you guys. Please do not disappoint. So all of us are going to work towards going to have a better Africa. Remember, God bless us with so many minerals.
Yes.
The culture is so rich in everything. So we have to do what? work so hard so we can go and possess our possessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And lastly, Ugochi, do you have any closing remark for the youth?
For the youths.
For the youths, again, remember the goal and work towards it. That's pretty much it. That's always been the game plan, and it's going to continue to be the game plan. So,
thank you so much. And our viewers, at the beginning we didn't say topic, so I was waiting for us to finish, and then I will tell you what this topic would be that we just discussed is hope for Africa. So the young person came out to tell us that we have hope. So I'm telling the older Africans that are doing so well in terms of struggling, doing whatever they can to bring changes in Africa. We just want to let you know that the young ones are taking the same direction, and that by God's grace they will all come out to help us to rebuild Africa. All right, so that's our show today. Once again, continue to watch us at our Sweet Home Africa, where we bring some of the challenges that we're facing in Africa and then give advice, simple advice that can help us to bring our nation to a beautiful level so that everybody will be comfortable there instead of us running all over, scattered all over the world, trying to look for green pastures. All right, so thank you so much for watching us. Watch us again next week at our Sweet Home Africa.
All right,
Okay.
Thank you. And make sure you subscribe. Subscribe. Don't be stingy. Forward it to your friends. And remember, it's a weekly show. It's a weekly program. Please do not forget to subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you.